Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, good morning, everybody. Let's just make sure that everything is working here correctly. And we'll copy the link again. Yep, and let's make sure that Twitch is working. It is. Awesome. Okay,
Delta said yo-yo.
Good morning, Delta. Oh yeah, I was back testing last night, and here's the strategy that we got. So it looks pretty good over the year, so we're going to run it today on Sim. Well, let's look at what happened last night. Okay, so they continued to rise a little bit, and they're finally back to where I feel like they should have been. I feel like this drop here was just maybe a little bit overdone. I didn't trade it very well, but I mean, I expected to move down, but just not that much. So here, if you look at the bond, also went up pretty big. So that they're retesting is good. And I'll point out here, or the big thing that I want to point out. Hold on a second. Let's put these back over here first. Okay, here. So on our 30-minute chart, where did it stop? At the single print. Let's see if it did in ZN too. Not quite, well, pretty close. So this would be the area where I would expect some sellers to come in. So I think we could be good for another leg down today. It's not for sure, obviously. Nothing's for sure. And we do have some news today, don't we? Let's see, what do we got? Oops. Just get that all nice and tidy. We have at 8 o'clock, we have ISM manufacturing PMI. Okay. Well, I'm looking to fade this. Join the largest pump group. What is with all of these cryptocurrency quote-unquote pump groups? Like, I find that disturbing. Can somebody explain that to me? Like, how is that even allowed? I can't believe that that's even allowed. Well, see, looks like everybody's still asleep. We're still slowly building people up. We got a few viewers though. Well, there you go. I think I want... Oh, I always forget to connect in. I always forget that I have to start my demo connection manually. There we go. Perfect. We're going to take that one. Let's look at our other channels. KU coin. Every day they pay out a percentage of daily traded volume. You get the actual coins that are all traded on their exchange. Well, that's really interesting. I would like to look that one up. So I'm very interested in transaction volume. So let's look here at Bitcoin, by the way. So it looks like once again we are starting below the view up, and we've already bounced off of it once, so we're already in sell mode. Let's make sure that we got our Vista chart up. Where are you? There we go. So they are selling it. kind of interesting. You can see this bounce here yesterday was really good indicator. It actually looked like a head and shoulders, but then it bounced off. It never had the... You want a head and shoulders, you really want this to just go boom. You just want the volume to just keep going and getting stronger and stronger as it goes down. We got here in general. Matthew, I looked into the pump and dump groups. They all seem like a joke, right? Well, so I have one here. Let's pull it up. I had one on Twitter, right? Or not on Twitter, on Discord. Let's see if I can find it. I have like so many Discord servers. Just every time somebody. Okay, so here you go. Fair pump. So what's going on here? So they have pump info, and they're like, okay, this is the coin that we're going to pump, and then this is when we're going to do it. I haven't seen. They haven't done it in a while though. And then when you look in the main chat. Talking about Ryblox. Ryblox
Super Hans said his NAS is linked to Neo founder.
Well, that's interesting. Our Ryblox went down. That's that.
Alico said it is the founder.
It is the founder. Oh, we're looking that's coming from that channel. I'm like, what are they talking about? Let's look. Okay, so Ryblox. What is Ryblox at? Down 41%. Whoa, it got up to 1829? No way. When I looked at it, it was at 16. I mean, I would like it to get back to 16 or 8 to get back in because I wanted to buy it and it went up too fast. And everybody in chat keeps reminding me about it because they regret that they didn't do it when I first mentioned it too. I could do it now. The bid is just not in the right spot. Anyways, when you look at these chats, I just don't. Yeah, this one has some interesting chat. Some of the other crypto groups, there was another one. Here we go, decentralized Sharmudas. What's just every once in a while they'll post, about a coin, but overall it's just like they don't post anything useful. It's kind of weird. I feel like that kind of goes into the thing like where who was the investor the other day that said that the people that are investing in Bitcoin are stupid? Or he didn't say they were stupid, but he said that they weren't very smart investors. I think it's a point. The people that you're investing with, the people that are on your side is an important thing, isn't it? Well, it looks like we're already getting a little bit of action up here. I might need to dump this. So level 2 went all crazy there when we ticked up. Oh. Matthew says Rye is a pump and dump. Crypto investor on YouTube posted a good video about Rye being a joke. Are you gonna have to? Can you, Matthew? Can you link that in the stream channel? Posting that in general, but give me that link in the stream channel. I would like to see that later. We'll put it on my to watch list. I only liked Ryblox. The sole reason I was looking at Ryblox was because it's supposed to be the fastest way to transfer. Okay, so now look, we're already seeing some sell volume. This is getting interesting. Oh, let's close this. That was a different test. I don't think that one was legit. So I made a change. I'll show you why I didn't like this one while I'm thinking about it and I'm being all ADHD. Oh, it's not going to show it to me. Never mind. You go in and you look at trades and it gets a lot of trades that it was only in for like a bar. So what happens is one ticket fits the parameters and then one ticket fits the exit parameters. So I made a change just to force it to be in for at least like 4 bars or something, and that made a big difference. It takes a lot less trades that way. We'll sit
Matthew said youtube.com.
Okay, here we go. Let's click that one.
Today we're...
Okay. So I will add that to watch later. That's why Rye Blocks will end as a pump and dump by a crypto investor. Okay. We'll watch it. Well, while we're at it, Matthew, since you say that one's a dump, so what would be your recommendation as a high transaction, able to make transactions very quickly and handle a lot of transactions? What would be your recommendation for a cryptocurrency like that?
Matthew said, as much as everyone hates Ripple in community, I like it.
That's interesting. I actually agree with you that Ripple gets more hate than it deserves, because they don't like it because it's banks running it and it's centralized. That's why they don't like it. They think that it's like a way to subterfuge the true goal of Bitcoin. And I think no, I think the only thing that matters is how useful it is for making transactions. But I do not like this run that Ripple has had. It seems suspicious to me, and it's been way too much too quickly. When you look at the amount of market cap that has gone into Ripple lately, it's ridiculous. It's just I can't jump on that boat at this time.
Brand said, hoping it turns short now. Master Yoda said, hope so.
I was just saying to the guys in the bond channel that notice here, big selling, big sell in 2690, and then another 1,000 to push it down in ZF. And here in Z and in ZB, there was a little bit of a pump, but then these seem to be dumping as well, and we're back below. So I think this is a good indication short, but it also might be an indication that there's some spreading going on. It's my oatmeal. I heard it is Chinese investors using South Korea, hence regulations coming for South Korea accounts. Could be. I mean, the thing is that it doesn't have to be like tons of people, right? The market cap for cryptocurrencies is small enough that one big fish can make a big difference. Good morning, IQ. Just double check here. Oh, hi, Anthony. Good, happy New Year to you too. By the way, just for you guys in YouTube and Twitch, I am trying to watch the YouTube and Twitch chat, but really the best way to talk with us is in Discord. So I put the link in the video descriptions. If you just click that link, it'll take you to our stream channel. And that's the one that I'm watching. And if you say something, it should actually read it out, assuming that I'm looking at that channel at the moment. So, and that would make it a little bit easier. Oh, do you not see the chat in the video description? Here, I'll link it in the chat too. That should help you there. Okay, so I'm just looking at Twitch. Sorry, Sir Richard, for not seeing that sooner. We only just barely started streaming on Twitch this week, so I haven't been watching it as much. So what you're looking at, ooh, I did not like that. Let's just hold on a second, and let's see if they give it up or not. Anyways, the software that you're looking at is called Jigsaw. If you go to jigsawtrading.com is their website. If you like it and you decide to buy it, let me or somebody else that has Jigsaw know first, because they have a referral program. So, no, it's okay for if you're not in the Discord. So new, it's cool. But yeah, Jigsaw and maybe I'll just try and give you a brief explanation of what we're looking at, so that since you're new to it, these are orders on the exchange that are sitting on the exchange. So these are people with limit sells on the exchange and limit buys on the exchange. And then you can choose to just, buy or sell at the best price being bid or offered. And that's what you see here in this middle column is market orders hitting those limit orders. So you can see 1,700, 1,800 now. Market buys have hit 26.5, but they haven't broken through yet. In fact, I actually would expect them to put more here on this level now. We'll see if they break through. This is the price, obviously, and this is like volume profile. And then this column right here is what you want to look at to see what I'm trading right now. So I'm long from, I'm short from this red price right here, 25.5. And then this is how much money I make at each price. So my stop is at minus 62. And then what you see up here is just kind of like a chart of what you're seeing down here. The more white, the more orders there were at that price. And this is like the market buys. So you can see here in ZN, market orders are buying it mostly. And ZF market orders are selling it mostly. You can see the same thing for Bitcoin over here. Here's a Bitcoin chart. And for the Bitcoin chart, the thing I want you to watch on the Bitcoin chart is this white line right here is the volume weighted average price. And you'll notice that they tend to bounce off of it. So right now, if you want to short Bitcoin, and I'm not saying it's a long or a short, but if you want to short Bitcoin, it looks like we're at an okay price right now to do it. So I hope that's a good explanation for you there. Boom, boom, boom. Anthony. No, it's good. Yeah, so if you post in the stream channel, that's optimal, just because then it reads it out for me. So not only will I notice your comment faster, but anybody that's watching the video later will know why I'm saying what I'm saying. Right? Otherwise, it's just like, where are these questions coming from? I'm going to take a few bites here. Okay, so now there it's now at 1600. Was at 1,000 for a second. I'm starting to wonder. So this looks like this is an iceberg, and I'd expect at least 3 to 4,000 trade there to clear it. I'm wondering now though if maybe this big bid that they put up there is either somebody that was really looking to get short and they weren't done loading up yet, or if it's spreading action. See, when they're not getting buyers, they actually reduce, which is odd. So I'm wondering, by the way, Sir Richard, how did you see the channel? Did you just see it on like Twitch's directory?
Matthew said I saw this yesterday where this guy said steam.it is the fastest crypto. Found this article steemit.com.
Steam it? Oh, is it really?
Matthew said it also does the most transactions blocktivd.info.
You know, I've been interested in Steam too because it has that social network, and it actually looks like people use it, which I was happy about because usually those kinds of websites are just dead, right? And I really like Reddit, so of course I might not be the best person because I have a tendency to want to go into Reddit and say the thing that I think everybody's wrong about. There we go.
Matthew said it could be good for your channel, you get paid for your content.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like about it is when you upvote somebody, yeah. Though I didn't, that when you upvote somebody, you're actually giving them Steam. But I guess to really do something though, you have to have some Steam to start, which I haven't done yet. Does Steam, is Steam a mined coin or is it a proof of stake? Let's look that up here. That's coin market cap. Excuse me. Okay, so there's Steam. Oh, Steam has taken a big run lately too. Website. Steam, smart tokens, proof of brain. Oh, okay. Faster. Can you mine it though? That's the question. Steam. Oh, you can. Using a dedicated CPU miner. Well, I have a pretty good CPU, so I'll have to try that one. Yeah, well, on it being good for the channel, you know, we've had a lot of success talking about the cryptocurrencies. I hope it's really useful for people because I feel like there's a lot of crypto investors out there that know a lot about cryptocurrencies, but not really about trading. And that's kind of why, even though I like to talk about Bitcoin and a lot of the viewers are on Bitcoin, I'm sticking with the 10-year Treasury note because I think that the 10-year Treasury note is the best way to learn how to trade. This is just pure trading. Okay, so it looks like so far we've been correct because we're now back below our entry price. And get all sorts of fun achievements on Twitch for like how long you stream and streaming regularly and stuff. Oh, Anthony says he works for a French airline. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, because my wife is a flight attendant. Although she only does small planes. I think she would love to get on a larger airline though. The same guy who built Steam is building EOS too. Is that another currency that I've never heard of
Matthew
before?
said you had said in the past, but where did you learn to trade treasuries?
Yes, so um first of all, I worked for a bank for like 6 years. So I learned a lot from doing that. And when I was at the bank, and I talked to the big traders there, they said, trade with a Dom. So I went out there and I found this course. It's called No BS Day Trading. That's their website, nobsdaytrading.com. And it's a pretty cheap course. It's only like 80 bucks, and it comes with a book, and it comes with a bunch of videos that he made. The guy that makes it, John, is really cool. He's there on Twitter. If you send him emails, he'll respond to your emails. And basically, the way that I learned was I read that book, and then I went and I got Jigsaw and I got the DOM, and I just watch the order flow every day, and that's how I learned. So, really the only thing I think you need to trade is this stuff right here, but I have this stuff open too because to see what we can see from it. And you notice some things seem to be really useful and some things don't. Cumulative delta is really useful. I've learned. These two below it, they're kind of interesting and you can see changes in them sometimes, but I haven't found an edge in them. But yeah, it's all observation. And that's the thing with trading is that you got to realize that this is like a zero sum game, right? Um, the way that the exchange closes this at the end is that they all the people that bought it have to sell it to the people that, or you know or like, especially with a cash settled future, they basically say, okay, here's all everybody that lost money, you give us money, and then we distribute that to all of the people that won money that day. Right? So it's zero sum. So if half the people are losing, then I can't just go and put out a course that says, here's how you trade, and this is exactly how you do it. Because if you do that, then somebody's going to go, oh, there's all these people doing this method. I'm going to just do something that takes advantage of that method and screw them over. So the only way to really learn to trade is to just watch it and find something that works for you and find your own edge in that market. Because it can't be the same as everybody else's edge. Yeah. Yeah, I think I did open an account. I just need to unsteam it. I just need to get some Steam. But I have some, I have some Ethereum and I have a couple of other ones, so I could easily do that. I was trying to mine this, Verge, um, because it was, I wanted a privacy coin, but the pool that I was using doesn't seem to be working, and maybe I will switch it over to Steam here and come back to Verge later. Of course, as soon as I do that, Verge will probably take off, and I'll be like, ah. Take a few more bites. I didn't get out of the shower early enough. I try to eat before I stream, but sometimes I'm eating here.
Alligator said why today lots of data, minutes, this overnight move was due to comments but only concerning Euro bonds. Rand said yes was very slow early on, not a good scalping environment at all.
Okay, so we got a good tick down there. And good offer being put on it now as well. Let's just double check our, okay, it is enabled. So my strategy, my automated strategy that is trading sim today will not trigger unless we are below the VWAP. So we're gonna kind of have to see if it decides to take one here once we get below. And you'll hear it. You'll hear NinjaTrader say order pending. Oh, Anthony just says I shared your page on Steam and you were my first post. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I also, so going back to the crypto community.
Rand said you be right below the VOT, thought it might bounce around there.
Another thing that I really hope that the crypto community pays attention to is this volume weighted average price. It's very, very useful. And most of the charts that I look at, specifically for cryptocurrencies don't have it. And you can see here with the futures, it's been very instructive, even though there's barely any volume in the futures. A little bit of iceberging there, 24.5. I think that they're going to try the VWAP bounce here. So what we should see is people trying to buy it at 24 and 23 halves. Buy it with limit orders. But if our trade is correct, they should just plow right through them. And of course, it's really going to be driven by the 5-year. And this could be the people selling it. Could be the
Heath said long 30.
The steepener guy that's been selling for the past 2 or 3 weeks, or it could just be more short-term traders trying to play the FOMC minutes today. It should be interesting. I'm gonna be around, so around 9 I'm gonna stop trading, but I will leave the stream up, and then when the minutes come out, well, so 9 my time, which is mountain time, so 11 Eastern time. And then at 2 Eastern time, the FOMC minutes come out, right? And so then I will come back and maybe we'll trade that if there's a move. UP is right below the value high. Keith is feeding it. He's gone long. Oh, Matthew asks, can you explain your daily chart that we post on Patreon a little bit more? Is it the transactions? Yeah, well, so it's specifically it's on-chain transactions. And we do adjust it based on the number of coins that are out there. So you'll notice that coins like Ethereum that have a lot more coins in circulation, the chart is a little bit different because of that. And then it's just that over an average period of time compared to the price. So generally speaking, what it shows is when price is moving up too fast compared to the average transactions is what we're basically trying to show. So you can see it in Bitcoin. I'll just show that really quickly. Oh, that's not what we wanted. Documents. It goes into R. Makes a new folder every day. Right. So when we're really pumping up, this indicator tends to go up, but you can see that in Bitcoin it never really got above this 100 line, because every time that it went up, more people started using it, until we got to this period right here where it started going up, and the price was just going up way more than the memory pool could even keep up with. And so now we're falling. Price, I would expect to come back down to here, but it's a double-edged sword, right? Because if we come down in price, but then we also come down in transactions, which hasn't really happened yet, but if it does happen, then this could go up again. We actually did go up a little bit yesterday. Like we were at like 75 and now we're at 80. But yeah. It's been I remember when I first did this, like I had a theory. I was like, the theory is the reason that cryptocurrencies have value is because you can make transactions with them, right? That's what the indicator is really based on. Oh, wait, here.
Matthew said, cause you said if it hit 50, you would buy.
Yes, if it hit 50, I would buy. Exactly. So the theory is that cryptocurrencies have value because you can make transactions with them. So the theory was, well, so let's look at how much value it actually is providing for people. And we look at that by looking at actual transactions that people are making. So when the price gets ahead of the actual transactions that people are making, maybe we're overbought and we're oversold. So I had the algorithm in my head and it said, okay, let's program it out. And I did it. And I said, oh, okay, just 1 day's volume isn't enough. So we got to add like a couple of days volume. So there is an average in there. And I programmed it all together. And that was it. What you see right there is literally the first chart I made. And I made it in Excel the first time. But, and I looked at that chart and I was like, holy crap, that is exactly what I wanted to see, was some big spike every time that there was a crash. And then I said, well, okay, let's not like get too excited because things can change and maybe it really isn't saying what I think it is. So I said, okay, well, if we get above 100, or especially if we get to 150 and then we get another like 50% crash, then that's going to be my indication that it works. And if it ever gets back to that 50 level again, I'm going to swing at it as hard as I can. So it did it. So now when it gets back down to 50, we're going to put as much, I don't have a ton of money to put into it, but we're going to be buying some cryptocurrencies if we get back to that 50 for sure. I'm super excited about it because it's kind of like, it's too good to be true, right? It's the same with this automated strategy that I'm doing. I looked at it and last night and it would have passed the top
Matthew
step
said,
combine.
does this include when people buy on Coinbase?
No,
is that recorded on the block or is it internal?
So if somebody buys on Coinbase and then immediately sells, and they're just trading with somebody else on Coinbase, my understanding is that those transactions don't actually go to the chain. Like those transactions only go to the chain when it's been there for so many days and Coinbase, sends the transaction there and it's confirmed. So there is some exchange transaction value that is not included in there. Anyways, I ran this strategy and it would have passed the combine every day or every month this year. And I'm like, hey, there's no way. There's no way. So we'll run it and see how well it does this month. Yeah. No, the fact that some transactions happen off chain, I think is important, especially with Bitcoin, because there's this whole thing about the mempool and everything like that. And, that the mempool kind of puts a limit on how high the price of Bitcoin can go, unless Lightning Network comes along, which apparently is still a ways off. So, well, they're having trouble getting below that,
Matthew
even
said,
touching
plus
the
I
VWAP.
think people have been buying Litecoin and Ether to get dollar to exchange age faster.
Yeah, that could be. Or they've just been buying Litecoin and Ether as a way to, like, play Bitcoin because they tend to follow each other somewhat. They're like, well, I don't like that Bitcoin has already gone too far, so we'll get in on the altcoins. I don't know if that strategy works too well, though, because they just kind of take turns pumping, don't they? Okay, that was good that we hit an iceberg there at 25 halves. Double check here. Okay. Not any new questions on Twitch or YouTube, but got a lot more people watching now. Anthony, are you saying that very soon it will be a great opportunity to buy some altcoins because of the technical indicator you have developed? Yes, that is what I'm saying. I mean, I look at each one individually, so I want to buy when it's at the bottom of its channel on my indicator. And Bitcoin obviously matters more because the whole space tends to follow Bitcoin. But yes, the thing is that when you look at let me pull it back up here again. I already closed it, and I closed the Explorer window, and now I need it again. I feel so dumb. Okay. So notice how when we get to a really high value that it goes almost all the way back. This case, it didn't quite get all the way back, but here it went all the way back to 50. So I'm expecting that to happen again. That's the theory. But I think scenario 2 is that we get this thing again where we're going to come down and we don't quite get there, or we don't quite get as low as we normally would, and they make another push up and the indicator gets even higher than it was, but because there's less transactions or whatever, the reason is price won't get as high, and we have a, like we had right here. They made a push, but they didn't get as high, and then we really tumbled. And people forgot about cryptocurrencies for like 2 years or whatever. Yeah. Okay, they did push through that 25 halves. Oh man, they're going to make another attempt here.
Matthew said SegWit getting adopted will make transactions cheaper.
Justice for Germans, we're talking about that indicator that I just had on the screen. It was my Bitcoin valuation indicator. And I'm saying that I expect that to go back to the bottom of its channel, which would mean that there's more pain to come in Bitcoin, essentially. Yeah. SegWit getting adopted will make transactions cheaper. Yes, it would. It just seems like SegWit is a ways off at the moment.
Matthew said Coinbase hasn't. Nick Savos was suggesting wallets W SegWit.
When it happens, then we'll try and factor it in, I guess. Hopefully the I'm moving because there's a couple of different sources that I get, because I can't seem to get all the data in one place, but now I'm pulling data historic or every day from Coinbase. So hopefully when Lightning happens, Coinbase changes how they aggregate their information to put that into account. But we'll see what happens. Well, that was a strong buy there. It does kind of seem like they're doing the VWAP bounce here. Justice for Gamers gave the unhappy face with the eyes closed.
Rackley3 said just found out KuCoin plans to have 1,000 tokens on their exchange in 2018.
Get back to that channel. What's this say? What's he saying? This guy, he linked to a tweet that says why Bitcoin Cash will be worth 1 million plus in 5 years. Maybe. That's a little bit too far ahead for me to even visualize. Okay, so now they're attacking that 27 pretty hard. Some iceberging there. Yeah, 27 halves. All right, well, I'm just gonna let it hit the stop. I think we had a good trade there off of the open, but it just didn't happen. Well, that actually is a new high in CN. By 1 tick. Not in ZF. They just touched the high. And it's definitely a new high in ZB. Although in ZB they kind of was a little bit of a impulsive touch. There was actually a gap in front of it, which is usually not good. And the cumulative delta on that push up was actually slightly higher. But not in ZN. ZN is overall still selling. But ZB is buying. So they're definitely seeing the spread. Buy ZB, sell ZN. ZF. ZN's kind of caught in the middle. Anthony in Monorat says, so if I understand correctly, you're saying Bitcoin is going to go down really low and alts will too. Well, I wouldn't necessarily say really low, but further. So when I was looking at my indicator to say like what price would we have to be at today for it to be at 50, it was like 8,000. But obviously by the time we get down there, the transactions might be different, so that price might be different. But that just kind of gives you an idea of where the targets are. But who knows? It very well could just go up and make a new high. So yeah, 8K is pretty low comparatively speaking, compared to 20,000. Justice for Gamers Germans, I'm going to put an end to this altcoin pumping nonsense by investing in some.
Matthew said crypto seems to be in twilight zone.
This is the best way to make the end happen, right? Is to buy it, and all of a sudden it'll stop going up, right? Just as soon as you buy. Oh, that's not cool. And Justice for Germans is saying what happened at the end of 2013 for me, bought at peak, all alts flattened for like 4 years. Yeah, that sucks. At least those outside the top 10. Did you invest in any coins that are like practically dead now, or like they're no longer in the top 50? So it seems like, most of these coins are going to be worthless someday. But I've never actually seen an instance where somebody said, well, I bought this coin and now it's defunct. The Twilight Zone, yeah. Well, like our whole reality, our whole world right now is like the Twilight Zone. The past couple of years, I think. Really, ever since the 2008 crisis, everything has been crazy zany. I mean, I followed politics really heavy
Matthew
before
said
that.
Doge is the perfect example of alt fever right now.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, the Doge chart is ridiculous, right? And like Doge is like supposed to be, it was created as a joke and people still buy it. It's crazy. I think that also might be an indication of how much
Matthew said
pumping,
exactly.
how much quote unquote pumping actually influences the Bitcoin market, because the only reason I can see for Dogecoin to go up is that somebody decided that it should go up and bought a ton of it, and then everybody else is just riding the wave. Well, Anthony Monterey asks, "What should we do?" Well, so I can't give you that kind of advice, but what I am doing is I'm just mining and kind of exploring things right now and saving things up until
Matthew
I
said I am
see
thinking about buying Putin coin.
until I see a coin that is, at the right spot. And you could still invest in altcoins that are like, seem like they have a lot of growth potential in them for sure. Because, maybe they do fall, but the fall would be considered pretty insignificant compared to how much it'll go up if they ever actually eventually break out, right? But I would avoid buying something when it's pushing, like Ryblox, for instance. I really liked Ryblox, but then it's on its way up, and so I'm too wary of buying it because I expect it to come back somewhat. Yeah, that's what he's doing. All right, well, the thing is you can't predict the future with 100% certainty. Well, we can say there's a probability. So what do we have? We have an indicator that on a historical basis, at least 3 times, has been predictive. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be predictive this time, but it's a good enough bet that you could try putting money on behind it, right? I wouldn't touch alts again without constantly taking profits. Like, play it like day trading. Be ready to bail at small losses rather than holding, because sooner or later they won't bounce back. Yeah, Anthony says, I already crossed 10 times my investment. Yeah. And I know nothing about charts. Really scary. Well, with coins, you don't. I mean, most coins just follow the cup and handle sort of a thing, right? Like it'll go up, and then it will kind of come back a little bit, and then it will go up even further. That's most crypto coins. I don't know if other forms of technical analysis really mean a whole lot to them or not. Anytime that somebody says, okay, this is a technical analysis indicator or pattern that you can look at that is predictive, first question in my mind should be, okay, well, what's the probability and expectancy? And if they haven't tested it, then you don't really know. right? Everything that I try to use here in trading, I've tested it. So these trades, or at least the things that I look at, like the certain volume patterns and stuff like that, I keep a spreadsheet, and when I would see it, I would just put a tick mark where it said, okay, I saw this happen, and the strategy is go long, and then see how often it works. With Bitcoin, maybe you can backtest it like I can in NinjaTrader. I don't know. There's probably some data out there that you can get to backtest on. Okay. Well, I'm going to change my interest area to be right there at 6.5, 26.5. Manas Kumar says alts will beat Bitcoin growth. Well, I think that's probably a good bet, or at least it has been a good bet recently, right?
Matthew said Mike Novogratz said $8,000 for BTC. It's hard to get that sort of sentiment from a major bull out your head.
He says by Mona, so I'll look that one up as well. But yeah, we were saying yesterday, wasn't it, that the overall cryptocurrency market cap has actually decreased, and it's just that Bitcoin has lost market cap. So to say alts will beat Bitcoin growth, that's probably a good bet. Or at least over the past, 2 or 3 weeks, that's been a winning bet. Anthony says rule number 1 with alts and no rules. Rule number 2, buy low, sell high, but still no rules. Rule number 3, make 20-30% profit, then run, but still no rules. Yeah, well, I think when it doubles, at the very least, when it doubles, you have to take some off, right? But it kind of depends on the coin. The crypto mania reminds me of what the dot-com days, when it was easy to fool oneself that one was a good trader when the reality is everything was going up. Boom, exactly. So much so, this is also another reason why I say Treasuries is...
Matthew said the alts will continue, I think, because Bittrex stopped onboarding and now Binance keeps lagging with too much load. People are still rushing in. They did record $5.5 billion yesterday.
Wow. Okay, I didn't know that. So a lot of people are trying to play the alts now. Interesting. Let's just keep bringing the cryptos up until it doesn't go anymore. Yeah. One of the things that I like about Treasuries and why I think it's a good instrument to learn how to trade on is the 10-year. This one right here is like the highest, or actually I guess it's the second highest liquidity instrument in the world. I think the highest liquidity is the Bund, but that's euros, so I don't trade that one. But for US stuff, this is the highest liquidity. This 4,000 at some levels. This is not something that you just get lucky on. It's too efficient of a market to do that. Yeah, they're buying alts because Bitcoin is broke. Exactly. So what you have is maybe some whales sold, and that's maybe that's what brought us down, or maybe it was some retail traders, but a group of people got out, and that group of people then moved their money to altcoins. Hence the total market cap has gone up, right? So that money came out of Bitcoin and went into something else. Then there's another group of people that aren't that smart and are still stuck in Bitcoin, and or maybe stuck at a loss, and they say, okay, well, now I'm losing money, so I have to get out. So they sell, and Bitcoin takes another leg down, and then Bitcoin pulls all of the alts with it, and then all of that money that got into alts has to puke too. Isn't that what happened after Mount Gox? I mean, I wasn't paying enough attention at that time to really say that with 100% certainty, but it kind of seems to me from looking at some charts that that's what happened. Like looking at Bitcoin and Litecoin, because Litecoin was around back then, right? It sounds like some coin is going to replace Bitcoin. Well, I think so. I think that Ethereum at some point will, there will be a flippening. It's funny. This is the thing that I think is the most interesting about Bitcoin, is that the beginning of the year, it wasn't Bitcoin, it was Ethereum, right? That's why this whole thing started in the first place, was that Ethereum came out and Ethereum was growing like crazy, and it pushed up and it became the second highest market cap thing. And that was good for the crypto space. And so then, because Ethereum had done so well and the crypto space was going up, then Bitcoin started going up. It's just like the most ironic thing. Ethereum is just a better implementation overall.
Matthew said Ether is years out. VIT has said they have many problems. ADA is looking good.
Okay, so I haven't read much on ADA, so I'll have to look that up. I have a big long list. Right. You're right though that Ethereum is a long ways out. Well, I mean, you can use Ethereum today and people are using it and it seems to be really useful, but they still have problems. Like it wasn't even like a few months ago, everybody's already forgotten about how they had to fork Ethereum so that people could, because some people were like, had their coins locked in their wallets or something because of an exploit in a particular wallet. So yeah, that's not evidence of a coin that's ready for
Matthew said, but the coins built on it can be used. No product for these shit coins.
Right. So I know that Neo is on Ethereum, isn't it? But I don't understand what Neo does.
Matthew said can't.
Ethereum came close because of Bitcoin's network congestion. SegWit put only a temporary halt on it. Bitcoin Cash should take Bitcoin's place. It's how Bitcoin was intended after all. Maybe. I mean, I like the Bitcoin Cash community, not necessarily Roger Ver in particular. I don't really know a whole lot about him, but our BTC subreddit is really great. I like those guys. So I hope that they are successful. Definitely not because of the kitties, right? The crypto kitties, that is a freaking bubble. That one popped right away too, didn't it? Pretty funny.
Matthew said don't know if this is true but it is interesting. www.youtube.com%2FWatch%3FV%3DYX1QLE6Q4OU and USG equals AOVA 0P3 LXWINVER tax 3YDVF8G. Matthew said
that
sorry.
Was funny. That was funny. I don't know. I wonder why it did that, because normally it just turns them into links. Normally it just turns them into links and it doesn't read it out. But for some reason it didn't recognize yours as a link. Is it because of that % sign after it? Let's see if that link actually works. I think that there's something wrong with it, because if I put it in the browser, it might not work. They did make another swipe at 27.5, but only one contract traded.
Matthew said I copied it from the Google results page and removed the Google link.
Oh. Yeah, when I do that, it doesn't actually go to a site in my browser. And that's why it did that. It probably did it because it needs the slash. Okay, well, it looks like a couple of guys here in the bonds channel took some longs and already got out. I'm not sure if this is going to push through or not. This must be annoying when it interrupts you. Well, I can always mute it if I need to. It's actually kind of...
Matthew said, did you do any trade review sessions with no BS?
No, so I only took the basic course. And then long after that, I also got their intermediate course and watched the videos, but kind of seemed to me like the intermediate course is kind of more of a primer to get you into the live sessions, which would be much more useful. Not that there wasn't, not that the information in there wasn't useful, it's just you can tell that the true powerhouse learning is this webinar thing where you watch them trade for 2 weeks or whatever it is. Okay, a little bit stronger of a push here. Still can't seem to make it through. ZF, by the way, is at its low. This is just like yesterday. Well, not just like yesterday, but... yeah, this is just crazy. Yeah, IHTFP. Is that supposed to be something? 004? Anyways, they're saying the volume is struggling this morning. That's definitely the case. Like, we get these spurts, and they make a push, and they fail. But then when you look at the overall push, like the overall, we had a push up.
Matthew said, are you trading from another screen? Are we just seeing open trades?
So I do have another screen, and my other screen has these. But the screen that you see is the only screen that I put orders in on. The other ones are just kind of like, context, because I don't always necessarily remember every tick. But I figure for somebody that's watching it on replay, they're not so interested in this, so I don't show that screen. There's not enough room. Anyways, so we've had pushes up, and it's struggled to hold it here in ZF, but then the overall volume was down, and we're at the high of the day. Like, what the heck? So not only is volume struggling to push through, but overall liquidity is winning at the moment, right? That's really what that means. That means that we moved up because of the liquidity and not because of the market orders. Because the market orders actually are going the other direction. Now, when that happens, that means that the bulls, the people that are buying, at least for the moment, are not, they want price to go up, and its price isn't doing a very good job at going up. So that often means that we're in for a reversal or some sort of a pullback. So we could have like this, you know, like the first time that it happened, we went back and tested the VWAP, right? Because they're basically looking for more buyers at a lower price and hoping that that gives them enough momentum to go and make a new high. But it's better for us that it's come down a tick or two. Oh yeah, Anthony said most of chatbox blocks the addresses. Yeah. Part of why I like the Discord. So. Yeah, pretty much every day there's an announcement of new coins. Well, let's see. We did just start in the E-mini. I'm just realizing, and it does not look super strong at the moment, which is not necessarily good for us. But I said that yesterday, and then it was like the E-mini went down and bonds went down at the same time. So I don't know if that correlation is going to be today. Anthony saying the pullback is on its way, right? Which means I should sell and then wait a bit. Well, how do I go about explaining this? So one of the mistakes that I found I made a lot when I first started was I didn't think enough steps ahead. So if we're just looking at this chart right here, we went up, we came a little bit down, we went up, we made a new high. Now we're just kind of ranging one tick below that. Now let's just say, for the sake of argument, that we come back, okay? At that point, people say, okay, that's a pullback. So this is a good chance for me to get in, and then we should go up and we could make a new high. Well, maybe, but another possibility is that we fail right there and then we make a lower low. And then we go up and we make a lower high. But it could also make a lower low and higher high, the expanding range. We could also come down and, make a higher low, make a higher high, and then completely fail too. Like, it could be an exhaustion move. So, like, you think, okay, there's like 2 scenarios that I really need to worry about here, when in the reality there's like 12. Does that make sense? Yeah, the Bulls were not happy and were pulling back. I think that they didn't need much, so did they? Because they're already attacking that 27.5 again.
Order pending.
Okay, so now my um, automated strategy just took an order. So it still has like a 50-50 chance. So that on trading against it isn't necessarily bad. Well, not a very big offer that time. Yeah, well, see, at this point...
Matthew said you wrote the automated strategy.
Yes, I wrote the automated strategy. And it's based mostly on MACD. Yeah, well, I think in this instance, I would have preferred to not be in right now, but it didn't really give me an exit, so I'm kind of sitting here where it's like, it's holding right now, so what is the probability that I get stopped out versus the probability that it goes back to 25.5 and I break even? Or even better yet, make a profit. I still feel like it's a high enough probability to not just jump out. But that's probably more an indication that I just made a mistake earlier, that when we went lower, but then when we didn't extend through the VWAP, I should have gotten out at that point. And now that I missed that exit point, we kind of have to reassess and say, okay, if I was going to take a trade right now at this instant, what would I do? What are the probabilities? And I think that at the moment, the risk reward favors me holding it. So if you get out every time that it goes against you, you can get in and out a lot and spend too much on commissions. So okay, that's now the 3rd time they've touched that, by the way. The more times they touch it, the more likely it is to go through. But there could definitely be a better exit price for us. Maybe they sell through here. My best gains happened when I made I don't know what that is, and then run and bought lows until they jump up and on. That's how I did it. Eh, Trump can do everything. Since taking office, I've been very strict on commercial aviation. Good news, it was reported that there were 0 deaths in 2017, the best and safest year on record. I actually saw on my Facebook an image somebody had posted about that, and they had showed that there had been no deaths in like the past 5 years, actually. No, what Justice is saying, or sorry, what Anthony, I think you're saying is that some of your best trades have been counter trend trades, right? So my best trades have always been the market is just not doing anything. It's just sitting in a range. And I'm like, it seems like this person that just bought there seemed a little more anxious about buying it than they should be. And so I buy it too. And that we've often seen 16 plus tick runs after those. So that's kind of more of the trade that I'm looking for. I prefer a continuation trade because continuation trades have a better probability. Well, at least on a trend day, they have a better probability. I guess you have to be able to take both because it just depends on the type of day. Today has just been so very, very range bound for the first hour. So did my strategy actually get filled? Okay, it did. It did, and it's already 3 ticks in the red. Okay, now I see some guys going short. Should have waited for that 34 or 24. Where did he go?
Heath
Oh, he
said
went
still
in
long from
13.
13 though.
Hmm. Yeah, okay, so there's the fourth touch. See, the problem with this is that the person to come through and buy 3,000 it could just be one lot all of a sudden out of nowhere. Even though right now it just looks like there's no real interest in clearing it. Well, the E-mini took a slight move higher and now is coming off of it. I wonder if they start dumping and then that really pushes us to a new high. And above 27.5, I can't fade it. When I look at the VWAP, I'll maybe take a reversal at the beginning of the day in this area, but once it starts extending beyond that, I don't want to be caught up in that. I think that at this point I'm probably going to get stopped out though. Pouring tomatoes. Well, kind of looks to me like just hasn't really done a whole lot yet. The charts, just look at the Vista charts above us. It hasn't really moved that much from where we opened. No, Seth, go with the trend, right? Oh yeah, Keith is saying, because I said, oh, there's no way to know if it's what it's actually going to do here because of the anemic volume and everything. And Keith said, no, go with the trend, right? But I'm stuck in this this trade. I would prefer is that I had broken even on this, and then we see it coming up here to this high, and we just kind of wait and see what happens. Now that's a level break setup. People absorbing one tick below the high. That's often an indication that somebody is loading up and that they're going to try and hit those highs and push through it. Sometimes though the sellers just overwhelm the level break guy and they force him to wait or reset or sometimes even puke. Yep. Okay, so there's my stop. So let's see how they handle this. Are they able to get above 27.5? Anthony, do you mean from your previsions that it could get worse? I'm not quite sure what I was saying.
Dominic said, "Ugh, gave up 2 ticks. Got stopped out earlier. But I just made them back. So even for today so far.
Okay. I'm saying the way I should have traded this was I went short right here. Where was I short from? 25 half. So I think I went short here, and or maybe it was here. No, it was here. How did I get 20? Okay, yeah. So we went short here. It went against us. It came back on us. When it didn't continue through the VWAP, I should have gotten out. Right? Now that it's up here, they're trying to break 28. We can just say, okay, that didn't happen. Do I want to go long or short? Right now, I don't want to do anything. I want to see if they push up or not. So we could have a failure here. See how even after that they hit the 27.5 really aggressively, that there's still absorption both directions. This could be okay, so they broke through. Now I'm going to wait. Even though the buyers won there, you can still see the sellers make a second try. Let's see if they try and push it back down. Okay. So far, nothing. What are some prices that we have above us? 152.05. I don't know, we already touched that. Trying to look for a spot in ZB that would be a target. There's 16s. 16 is probably the next step, and then 24. Okay. So we're just gonna wait now and see if there's a long. So we don't want to be fading this far away from the VWAP. Sorry if that's confusing. Basically, what I'm saying is you're at a moment of decision right now. It feels like, oh, I need to do something because they're about to break through and it's going to happen and then it's going to be gone and you're going to miss it. But at this point is also the point of most uncertainty. So it's better to just let it play out, watch and see what happens, and then try and make a play on the aftermath instead. So if we move up another tick, there's a good 5,000 contracts there that we're selling 27.5 that might need to puke. So that could push us up a little further. That's what we're looking for now. And vice versa, if we do actually fade it and they start a push down and we get back below 26.5, then maybe I could start thinking about taking a short. I mean, I could take a short right now, and if I was right, it would probably be like a really profitable trade. But what is the probability of that actually being right? That's just unknowable. Does that make what I'm thinking right now a little more clear? Yeah, no, there's also ISM in 5 minutes. Forgot about that. And my trade, it's still break even. My automated strategy is still break even. It's interesting that it triggers at highs. It was triggered at a low yesterday too, and that was a trade that it was profitable for it. Okay, so now they've come back below the 27 halves. Not, this is a little too, pretty quiet.
Fran said ism coming up.
Yeah.
Heath said scratch. Not holding through news.
Okay, so here comes the news. I don't know if the ISM is really going to move us. Yeah. It looks like the bonds aren't really reacting to the price of equities much right now. They're not really reacting to the currencies either. They're not react. That's kind of weird. Okay, so now we're seeing the polling for the news. Oh, they pushed it back down. So there was a few longs in there that just
Order
got out.
pending. Order filled. Order canceled.
So did it just get out? Yep.
Below said volume plummeted.
Yeah. Pretty strong pull for just ISM. Okay, now below VWAP, we might want to take this. Put in an order where it happened.
Below said news time.
Okay, it outperformed. Come on. So I'm putting an order in where we were at before the news, because often we'll have a push down and then it will equalize back to the price that it was just before the news before coming back again.
Fran said ISM MFG index, level 58.2, 58.1, 57.1 to 59.5, 59.7.
Yeah, it was a good number. Might not come back to us. Construction spending was up too.
Fran said good number.
Those good numbers all around.
Heath said looking like a breakout failure as of now.
Yeah.
Below said above 50 on all, looks good.
They're still holding it at the view up.
Heath said I'm short 08. Heath said UB.
So now we're getting price and volume moving in a direction. So we definitely want shorts.
Below said nice entry. Fran said short 06.
Yep. So 7.
Alligator said take care employment bad, wages great, looks mixed below surface. Below said short 08. Master Yoda said still holding my shorts. Heath said nice below.
And they're still just iceberging every time at 25. 25 half. Let's check up on you guys. Oh, okay. A little intense. I think everybody's super focused. Now, okay, so now it's been 5 minutes since the news. Might see bigger players come in and start making some moves now. Yeah, look at that.
ETH said 09 needs to hold.
Is he talking about ZB or UB? I should just pull up another. Oh, okay, so they're right on there.
ETH said UB.
Yeah, okay. Ripple pumping up almost 70 cents in 24 hours.
ETH said I'm listening to your stream, Seth.
Oh, okay. I was like, is Keith reading my mind? Lots of iceberging there at 25 halves for sure. So
Master Yoda said gimme TH link.
Oh, the link is...
ETH said LOL mind reader smiling face with open mouth.
Yep, here's the link, Yoda. Well, I mean, there was a lot of people went short, and now we got some people going short, absorbing here. And people aren't really attacking the 25 even. So I'm still hopeful that we could get a pullback that would allow me to get short at a better price.
Master Yoda said okay, I see. ETH said ZB buying, UB selling.
Is UB selling? Oh yeah, he's right. Interesting. Just a slight dip though. My chart it actually, because the Candle hasn't completed, it actually shows it as down overall. In this one you can see it's popped up just a tad. Okay, now they're hitting it a little bit. Wondering if these guys that want to get filled here at 26 are guys like me that want to get short, but then what's with the only 28 here at 26.5? That's kind of weird.
ETH said yeah, I have my cumulative delta as uptick vs downtick.
Oh, I see.
ETH said might be a little different vs yours, Seth.
Yeah, because mine are just, yeah, I get you. Okay, that held again. Okay, well, they touched the 45. Well, that's actually the fourth time that they've touched it. Okay, now the fifth time that they've touched it. I could take a short at the VWAP. Okay.
Fran said you be right on top of pivot and VA.
I like that tick down in ZB or in CF. And with them putting 17 up on
ETH
it.
said come on break WAP.
Yeah. Okay.
Dominic said market makers trying to make us nuts. LOL.
Well, now the buyers are just disappearing. Okay.
Below said timber. Alligator said trying AS 250, ZF weak, ES looks like in a pullback. Dominic said gave up 2 ticks again. But just made it back. LOL.
Okay, I would have gotten filled at 24.5. Tisk tisk. Can we buy?
Master
Where do we
Yoda
get
said
filled here?
ZN flat. Master Yoda said ZB still holding.
Well, ZB just kind of raised the VWAP.
Dominic said my broker is liking me today. Dominic
He's
said
making lots of
LOL.
trades.
ETH said okay. I'm out for +6. ETH said we bounced a val in UB.
Okay.
ETH said asterisk off. ETH said and round number. Alligator said brokers like us every single day. ETH said ZB is also at WAP.
Let's see, nobody bought at 25. You see that? By the way, Bitcoin at its VWAP right now. You're literally like right on it, so it could go either way.
Master Yoda said flat 02. Master Yoda said ZB.
Okay. Now if they want to go lower.
Fran said holding for a minute or two.
Like the absorbed 3,000 there at 24.5, which is the VWAP. So I would normally see buying there, but not selling.
Alligator said VWAP, pivots, bonds look balanced. ZT looks moving down though, I hope it's leading, not sure. Fran said out 02.
ZF
Fran said that was fast.
ZF didn't actually have a reaction here, see? CN did, ZB did. ZF barely moved.
Fran said Delta popped positive.
Okay, so I did get filled at the 25.
ETH said lot of selling at WAP in Delta in ZB.
Yeah. So I only took that to try and get a better price, so let's get rid of it. Okay.
ETH said looking for a possible long at 29.30 if we break ZB.
If they break 24, we're outside of the value area.
Master Yoda said looks like I'm done for today.
Already done, Yoda. Is that good or bad? Please say
Master
that's good.
Yoda said MB will watch FOMC. So take care.
Okay, there we go. They pushed through view up. Now we need to see some selling at 24 even. Ooh, pulling at 24 even. Very good. Let's see, market buys are just like non-existent at the moment. 132. Another good tick down.
Dominic said MB.
Yeah, I don't know what that meant either. Yeah, another one pulled.
Fran said short 29. Fran said poop no fill. Fran said thought I was filled.
Oh. Rushed through that bottom of the value area pretty quickly there, didn't it? So now we could really start testing some lows. Yeah, probably 151.24. Yep, it's the next interest area I have marked. And in ZN, it's more like 220. Okay. Maybe 215 because that's where I have my eye.
Heath said long 28.
You know it's serious.
Alligator said ZF has broken down its pivot, but
like
now
that.
at settle close, could bounce.
I don't like that 4,000 right there. You know it's getting serious when the YouTube chat goes quiet and the bond chat is filled with people taking orders. Okay, both sides there, that's good.
Heath said here I go fading again, frowning face with open mouth.
No, Keith, we are below the VWAP. Don't buy it. Actually, we haven't reached one deviation, so technically, yeah, you're kind of okay, I guess. When I took mine, I was like above my loser. I was right there. Somewhere in there. think it was actually over here because it was like right at 615, 620. Okay, they pushed up there. This might be a slow go here. Okay, they pushed it back down.
Heath said scratch.
Okay, good offer.
Heath said you still holding below.
You see that? They hit it and it didn't even budge.
Heath said below.
Yeah, it did bellow. He was short 08. Did he get out?
Below said nah,
right?
sticking with 3T targets for now.
Ah, okay, so we only took 3 on that.
Below said nice scratch out of that.
Ooh, 3,000. Not the best offer though. Good backticking. Okay.
Alligator said looks like pullbacks are over for all Treasuries. Heath said yeah. These next few weeks I need to prove to myself that fading is bad. LOL.
Well, it's not, you know, Keith, it's not that fading is bad. It's just that you have to have a setup.
Heath said going to take a ton of trades.
Very specific setup, right? Because it's like with a fade trade, it's going to continue like 60% of the time, but like that 40% that it doesn't are like the best trades. So you kind of gotta figure out some filters to get rid of some of that 60% of them where it's a bad idea. On this one, I'm still seeing people absorbing everything they can on the sell side, and the bid's just straight up pulling. Okay, so there was a big, strong tick down like that.
Below said looks like your aggressive plays are paying off.
Wow. And they immediately put up 3,400. That's a pretty strong push. And there again, they pull.
Great Bear said fades are bad, breakout are bad, basically, all trades are bad. The only good trade is the one we get in and the damn thing runs our favor.
It's also about risk reward probability, right? Yeah. So what I was saying is, if we go right here, because they pushed down with and they put a big 3K up there, that's a good probability trade that you could go short, right? So if you went short there, you basically got four ticks of reward, 4 ticks of risk. You know, if you're straight up wrong, I mean, hopefully you'd get out before then, but if you're just straight up wrong, so like your risk or reward is even, and your probability is good, so you go short. If you wanted to fade it, you know, the other way, and depending on which instrument you're in, but you know, again, even risk reward, but your probability isn't that good. So in order for this trade to be worth it, in order to fade it be worth it, I think we need to be a little bit lower. Like maybe at 21, you could buy it. Now you have 2 ticks of risk and, you know, 6 to 8 ticks of reward.
Heath said right Seth. I think my idea with fade trades, which is bad, is that I get in at a good enough price to be able to scratch if I'm wrong. I tend to set limit orders at areas I think we are.
We are going to bounce without paying attention to order flow. After I'm in is when I pay attention, which is dumb. But I seem to keep doing it. Breaking a bad habit is a bitch. Yeah. Well, I think that you really found the way to pick areas where it stops. I mean, I notice every time that you get in on one of those places is where we're seeing icebergs, or where it's going to take a pause, right? Maybe those are places where people that are already short are taking profits at. Those are potential reversal areas. But I think that maybe something that would help is to just track those in a spreadsheet a little bit better, with like a very super specific setup, so that you can see, okay, when I see this particular thing and we're below the VWAP, how often does it actually turn out for me? And you'll eventually find a setup where, okay, it does. That is a good one. So like the one that we found that Ream back tested was when we get below the 3rd standard deviation after a move like that, the high probability of a reversal, right? That's just one setup.
Fran said one more scalp short for 2 ticks and done for the day. Expensive today.
Oof. That's not good, Fran. Okay. They're still absorbing. It could stop here. Really could. Especially since we're seeing a little bit of buying in ZF now. So I think I'm going to get out at the interest price here.
Alligator said F230.
Yeah, alligator's thinking the same thing I am.
Heath said for sure. I seem to find those profit-taking areas thinking it's going to reverse, which makes me hold a little longer. Finding the true turning points normally takes some time to turn. Alligator said I don't see any potential before 5 minutes.
Okay. So I was kind of thinking, you know, we could definitely make a try for low of the day. But alligator doesn't see that possibility. It is true that we are seeing a little bit of buying in the cumulative delta.
Fran said a lot of backticking today.
I'm gonna say hopefully we get out here. And maybe we go back to the VWAP and bounce off of it again.
Dominic said Keith, one way to break that habit, I think, is close the charts completely. Try just watching the DOM only.
I don't know about that one, because I don't think Keith's problem doesn't seem to be that he doesn't realize what the trend is. It's that he sees in the order flow that a potential reversal spot.
Dominic said, but take my advice with a grain of salt. I'm just even for the day. LOL. Smiling face with open mouth.
Everybody has something to offer. Even the ones that are losing or just break even. I say break anytime that you just break even for the day is a victory. Right? Oh, IHT and in the YouTube chat says fade can work, but you got to make sure your risk reward is correct. So when you are correct, you get paid, and it makes up for all the times that you're not right. Exactly. See, this is the thing that I think is interesting about the market is that humans are pretty good at seeing patterns. And especially when you have something like, okay, every time that this happens, there's a 50% probability that it's going to go this way, or there's a 60% probability. Like if it happens most of the time, we tend to see that. But what we're not good at seeing is where the risk reward is skewed. So we're not good at saying, well, yes, it does happen 60% of the time, but the 40% of the time that it doesn't happen, it's a much bigger profit than when it does. That's why it's really good to track them and actually, or back test it and actually see. Because then you know the statistic and you know, okay, in order for this trade to actually be good for me, I would have to get this much out of it. Do I think that it's actually going to get there? Well, let's see here. 4 ticks. No, not worth it. Well, I don't like that little buy-in spike that we had there for sure. I'm mad that I did not get filled. Now we're right at the defense point, so there's no point in getting out here.
Heath said, I've tried that, Dominic. It's more of an issue of remembering what happened. It's like a memory game when staring only at the DOM.
But I think when you make those trades, you do realize that you're fading, right? Or is it that you don't even realize that at that point that you're fading the trend? Because for me, I took a lot of fading trades and did not realize at all that I was fading the trend. I was only when I looked afterwards, I was like, oh, why was I buying it? We're going down. That was kind of dumb.
Heath said, oh yeah, I realize what I'm doing.
You realize what you're doing. So then the problem is not realizing the risk reward probability formula, right? Well, let me back up and rephrase that, because you know, one trade and you was a loser, it might not necessarily be a problem, right? If your winners are big enough. So
Heath said, see, but this move that is happening right here is what I'm after when I fade. I picture this move every time. LOL.
So if you had taken that long, would you be getting out at the VWAP, or would you be looking for it to go further?
Heath said, right. Alligator said, on most of my charts I've a ribbon to remind me the trend. I don't watch it anymore, but it had helped me in the past.
I think any time you have a problem, that something that helps is putting an indicator on your chart that reminds you and is objectively shows where we are at that particular thing. So for risk reward, you could make something that says, okay, how far away are we from the last pivot?
I threw Moz on my chart for that reason.
Wow. Suck. That sucks. That really sucks, man.
Great Bear said, yeah, but if you looking for a 4-tick move, the trend might not be your friend.
Yeah, And if it's a spot with a signal that has a decent enough probability.
Below said that's the thing about fade trades, you often have to bear a lot of heat before it finally goes. Calling the exact bottom is tough. Especially in a thinner UB market.
Well, Discord is not sending my messages. That's a little annoying. Okay, so now ZB is testing through the view up a little bit. They all are, in fact. Yeah, well, J-Force has never let a position come back.
Great Bear said that is why we need for absorption and backtick. Absorption and backtick. If you see that in an area of interest, you can fade.
Yeah, I think that was definitely a mistake. But I was also kind of like, I was really close to getting filled for one thing, so I should have gotten out earlier. But then I think my larger problem there, though, was that I was insisted on getting out with a limit order. And when this one didn't go through at, what was it, 23, I think? I probably should have just taken my profit there with a market order anyways, because you notice that every step up, look, there's nothing here. 104 here, nothing. And they were putting up 3,000s every step up, so there was no way that I was going to get out of that with a limit order. Yep, I yeah. It's also just very disappointing that they didn't get any lower too, though. Did they touch the 220? Oh, they did touch the 220. They did touch my interest area. Now they get
Below said we'll keep that in mind, Great Bear. Great Bear said, why am I getting red text? Heath said I was too. Heath said been trying to reply a few times.
Yeah. There might be getting DOSed or something. I don't know. It's only the second time I've ever seen this happen on Discord, though, so. Well, but it looks like they're going to play this game around the view up.
Great Bear said in high momentum move there's no areas of interest that can save you.
Yeah, right. In a high. That wasn't that high momentum, though. I'd still say we're on a range-bound day. Yeah.
Great Bear said FOMC days suck. Always did, always will. ETH said yeah. I just need to realize it's only an area of interest. Great Bear said Keith, you had your areas previously marked by the reversal bars. Great Bear said follow those.
FOMC days suck. Always did, always will. Yeah. I kind of forgot that those, though we tend to get range bound there after that. Now we're almost getting back to the news price. Yeah. That would be 08, 08 and ZB and I'm gonna say 65.70. Yeah, there's Discord being difficult again. The internet's being kind of weird too. Look at this. You can evade this whole thing. Everybody that got in on that. Yeah, there's Discord being a pain. Well, that sucks.
Great Bear said.
Oh, Great Bear can speak.
Alligator said I've long signals on US/EU bonds.
Where is my control center? Nope, it hasn't taken one yet. that bird. He can hear me.
Great Bear said you have also a small step in the profile there to reinforce the area. Below said looks like we're quickly heading back to the POC.
I mean, if it gets to 26 halves, 27, I might try shorting it.
Heath said also super obvious when I'm back on sim. LOL.
Right.
Great Bear said market get too thick. Alligator said for chartists, this morning looks like a move back to close, followed by strong bounces. Alligator said target for ZNR 1305. Heath said see like right here to me seems like a good fade play.
Yeah.
Nobody wanting to hit 08s in ZB. No new buying in CD.
So Keith, that's exactly what I see too, except for one thing. Man, how many ticks is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it took a step down. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So we had like a 10, 12 ticks in a row up. Can't fade that one.
Alligator said almost top of range.
I want to fade it, but I can't fade that one. And it might, it may well reverse here, and we're just gonna have to say, oh well.
Heath said right. Have to keep momentum in mind for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting. I want to know, well, Alligator's just saying the R1 is 30 half in CN. So he's saying that there's still room for us to move up. Also, do you see there at 26 half that there has been some selling, but it's all iceberging and holding it? So even here at 26 half, there are people looking long.
Heath said now getting some selling in CD in UB.
You see the bubbles in ZB too, but they broke higher. Oh, there was that 1,000 there? Missed that one. I don't know, there was 1,000 at both levels. Seen some big trades here in the past in this area too. From a couple of days ago.
Block sell.
Okay. What level was the block sell at? 27. Yeah, it's not necessarily a good sign. Now 8,000, huh? Okay, so there was the take on the sell side. Your probability for a fade got a little better, but the risk reward is still kind of just even. There's the 27 again.
ETH said, and the '07 fade would have worked. LOL. But this time I waited for it to give some clues. Much better if I'm going to try it.
Really, guys? There's a story on top story on CNBC right now. Trump
ETH
boasts of
said long
nuclear
'08
button.
UB.
Trump boasts of nuclear button, but doesn't really have one. Well, okay, we all know it's the football, but come on, guys. Bitcoin looks like it wants to go into buy mode again. Well, we've traded around here quite a bit. Okay, well, I am going to get going here in about 3 minutes, so I'm not going to take any more trades. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, put them in now so I can answer them before I go. And I'm just going to review here. So I took a trade around, well, let's pull this up so we can look at it. Yeah. So I was started at about 621. So it was right here. 55. So went short, immediately went against me. So I didn't get a very good entry price. And then it came back and I got one tick out of it, I think. And then it went against me. So I think that I seem to be having this mistake of holding on way too long. Especially for like a range bound day like this. Then I held it until the news. I got stopped out. And then it went back to my price. So I think this whole trade was just kind of dumb. I think that I had a good edge here with it going down. So I don't necessarily regret taking that trade. I think it was a good entry. I just didn't manage that trade very well. And then this one, kind of the same thing. I didn't get the best price, but it did okay. And then it came down, and by the time I had thought about getting out, it started coming up too quickly. And so that one was a break even when it should have been +4. So that one kind of sucks. That'll happen. So it's not like the end of the world, but I definitely could have put that order in a little bit faster. So alligator got out. Yeah. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do work. Oh, and I'll post the the charts here. But I will come back to talk about the meeting minutes, and we'll see if maybe we take a trade there or not. All right. So I'll see you guys a little bit later.